L'chaim. Yeah, there's something also, maybe what we're going to be learning about today, but it's a good way to put it. The ability to have nostalgia for the present moment. Oh, these are the good old days.
Nostalgia
Is
for the
it?
present moment. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, so Be'ez Hashem, it's a term that I coined many moons ago in Montreal. I think there was a particular Talmidah who pulled it out of me, whose name is now Sarah Fenton, whose name used to be Sarah Gidding.
Wait, is she the wife of Ari?
Of Ari, yeah.
Wow.
I was her campus rabbi way back in the day in Montreal, downtown Montreal. We were learning Hasidus up in an apartment. Yeah. So nostalgia for the present moment. You see, the thing is, like we were just singing a song about Yerushalayim. I get to Shlomo in a minute. We're in the Sefer, page 143 is where we're holding. So first of all, we go. On the one hand, Yerushalayim is a very, 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 very specific place in the world. On the other hand, God is very, very, very infinite. So why is it that Yerushalayim is so different than Paris or Rome or New York or LA or Melbourne or any city? There's mamish something about Jerusalem that just strikes a chord in the heart. In the specific thing of Jerusalem, the specific thing of Dafka being Dafka B'diuk in Yerushalayim, enclosed, like within the walls of Yerushalayim, within the on one hand the walls, which on the other hand the Navi says, Praza is Teshev Yerushalayim, when Mashiach comes, Yerushalayim won't need walls anymore. It'll be open. Something so beautiful about that image.
We are told that all of Eretz Yisrael is going to be
expand. Yes. It's going to expand.
And it's all going to waft with the sweet smell of like cinnamon
bush
or something.
Yeah, we had a whole forum share about that. That's for now.
I hope you like cinnamon because the whole place is got sweet.
Everybody likes it.
Looking at allergies.
So the thing though is about Yerushalayim is that it's a double word, like Einayim Raglayim.
There's a list of
Yes.
names of Yerushalayim, like 70 names.
Mamish. It's this fascination of so many names because it's unifying different dimensions. There's a duality to it. There's Yerushalayim Shel Mala, and there is Yerushalayim Shel Mata. And the Gemara says that Hashem swore that he will not enter Yerushalayim Shel Mala until we rebuild Yerushalayim Shel Mata.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean, and what are we taking from that? Right, is everybody comfortable? Should we turn on the thing? Maybe, yeah. So find the
Remote's right there.
Oh. Is the setting, was it on already today, Judy?
No, it's not on at all.
Oh, well, okay, 1 second. I'll make it soft and 23, like a low fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I could move.
Is that the joke? Judy's like from the Amazon and I'm from Antarctica. But any case, so
You're out, Paul.
Just talking about the duality.
Right. So there's an this is all a preamble for Shlomo. We're coming into Shlomo, but Yerushalayim can get destroyed. It can be nechrevet. But there's one city that this whole Torah for. We learned it once on a Shabbaton. Rav Moshe Wolfson Zatzal, who passed away now maybe just a couple months ago, 3 months ago now. Rav Moshe Wolfson, who was friends with Shlomo. Did I tell you about this? I one time in Uman was learning Shlomo Torah, and this Bresler Bechassid comes over to me and says, he says, I remember Shlomo was in Torah V'das, a million years ago by Rav Shlomo Hyman. And there was a story going around that Shlomo was eating ice cream with Rav Moshe Wolfson in an ice cream parlor. And Shlomo kept leaving over a little bit of ice cream. And Rav Moshe was like, Moshe Wolfson was pushing Shlomo. He said, come on, Shlomo, Bal Tashchis. Like, don't waste the ice cream. And Shlomo quoted for him a Tosfot in Avodah Zarah, Daf Yud Aleph. He said, Kavod Melachim Shiny. Because the Gemara says there that a king who passes away, they burn his clothes and others of his possessions, even though the next king is also king, but he shouldn't wear the same thing that the previous king wore. And Tosfot asks, Bal Tashchis, you're not supposed to waste things and destroy things. And Tosfot answers, the honor of a king is different. So Shlomo was saying, the honor of a king is different, that the neshama that needs to be present in the eating and needs to be aware of Hashem and then leave over a little bit, not necessarily finish all of it. I don't really need all this ice cream. It's not called you're wasting. It's not called you're wasting. You're honoring the melech, the royalty within, by leaving some over. Anyway, that's just a cute story. So Rav Moshe Wolfson, he taught a lot about the city of Hebron. And he said, Yerushalayim can be destroyed, the base of Mikdash can be destroyed, it's the building above ground. But the Marat HaMachpelah is deep, deep, deep underground, and it can't be destroyed. And it represents the Chibur, Chevron, Lashon Chibur, represents the connectivity that can never be taken away. And it's that connectivity, that's why David HaMelech went to be king there for 7 years before he became king in Yerushalayim, because it was there that he imbibed, he took in the depths of connectivity, so that he could again go to Yerushalayim and connect Yerushalayim Shel Mala with Yerushalayim Shel Mata.
By the way,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that my great grandson had his birth this last Friday.
In Hebron. So that's our kesed, that's our bris with Hashem. It cannot be taken away. This chibur, and it's an unbelievable thing. The chibur is deep, deep underground. It's like you don't see it, but it's there. This is what we're going to be learning about. The nostalgia for the present moment is that somehow in the present moment, the not yet Mashiach moment, the present moment where we're in what Shlomo used to call the meanwhile, in the meanwhile, in the meanwhile, what can we do in the meanwhile? There's a chibur, an indestructible possibility for chibur that is always with us. The avos are imahos are always with us. The kesher, the chibur, the chaverim, friendship is always there. Connectivity is always available. There's always somebody who would love to hear from you, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's a relative, a Bobi Azedi, sometimes who knows who, a sibling even we haven't spoken to in a while. It makes a big, big difference. We don't realize it and the moment that we just reach out and make that kesher. Rav Nosson Bretzler says, why do we say Shehechiyanu and Baruch Mechayim Mesim? We haven't seen our friends in a long time. Because Baruch Mechayim Mesim, we haven't seen you in a whole year. It's not as if you came back to life when I saw you. If some part of me died because I haven't seen you for a whole year. Rav Nosson says, from this we learn that you have to make sure to see your close friends at least once a year. Imamish learns out from that halacha, like you don't make it that you have to make that bracha. So
what is the bracha? Because I'm going to meet a good friend on Tuesday.
They haven't seen it in a year?
For a long time, yes.
Bracha Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam mechaya mesim. Yeah. If you haven't been like in correspondence really, and you really lost touch, right. Amazing. So you can manage to make it with Hashem's name and everything. If you've been in touch and you've spoken on the phone, then it's better to say it without Hashem's name. But if you've been in touch, but if you really haven't seen them or been in touch, then you can make it with Hashem's name and everything.
That's interesting because the one on Shemona Esrei is actually just Baruch Atah Hashem Mechayim.
Right. Here's Elokeinu melech haolam. The Malchus. Yeah. Shemona Esrei Seder. Yeah, that's so. So in any case, L'chaim, and Shechianu is the same idea that I'm getting more life by seeing you again, that's why when you haven't seen a friend for 30 days, right? The chibur brings us life, and it's not stam life, it's the life we've been learning about the last few weeks.
Mhm.
It's the life energy that is the love that motivated creation.
Chibor is like chai bor. It's like the bor.
Life within the
No,
pit.
bor.
Right?
Bor is well, kind of, but also
Yeah.
it is it's the pit. It's like the
The
cistern,
cistern, yeah.
the repository of life.
The repository.
Chibor, chai bor.
Oh, the repository of life. Yeah, very nice. Mamish. So, right, so that kesher is so important, and this is what it brings back to the real life and to the world, is because we get stuck within the world, within the measurements of the world. And we need the love that motivated the creation of the world itself. Olam chesed yibaneh. We need some of that. We need it badly. It makes everything like livable again. Brings us back to life. We need the olam. I need like some olam chesed yibaneh. We need it in a really real tactile way. We need it, and it comes the best when it comes. A friend can give it to us, but it's really the strongest when we give it. Then we become like the pipeline for it, and it flows through us to Bubi or Zaidi or a friend or sometimes when we really daven and go to the kotel and you really daven, or when you're really learning, when you really search for a teacher, when you really find a sefer that's like that gets you that thing, it's so big, so big, so important, and that's this chibur that it's amazing. Where is it? Where is it? It's like underground, right? Where is it? I sent a little emoji to like a friend and I haven't seen in a long time, and it hits them, and like, boom, there's love in the world again, right? And but where is that love? Is it in the little yellow face? It's in my heart. It's subterranean. It's this amazing thing. It's like it's mamish. It's chevron. It's this wonder. It's something that specifically is made possible by Olam Hazeh, brought to you by Olam Hazeh, with all of its brokenness and imperfections and not yetness and meanwhile and limited, etc., etc. But dafka here, dafka now, we have this opportunity to make these chiburim. Been talking a lot about this. How the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatzal, and when he was alive, the signs used to say, they didn't say Melech Mashiach. They wouldn't have probably dared to put it up while he was alive. But what the signs would say is Heichonu Lebiat HaMashiach. Remember those signs? Get ready, prepare. Heichonu. Remember, that's what the signs used to say. Prepare yourself for the coming Mashiach. Means, we're speaking on this on Thursday. The Friday is so special because if you don't make that cholent, it won't be there. There's something that Avada, we want Mashiach to come ASAP. And at the same time, the opportunities now are beyond. Mamish beyond. Dafka now. Dafka before. In the meanwhile, during Galus. It's an incredible perspective, right? And that chibur between Yerushalayim Salmala and Yerushalayim Salmata, mamish depends on that. We're the ones who make that chibur. We really are. Wow. So he says here, let's look, we're on page 143. And we're going to say in a minute about how this relates to Tshuva and Elul, but first I'm going to read this little Torah, this little one, Yeladim v'litufim. Children and hugs or caresses. Yeladim me'od kshurim im yadayim. Children are very connected to hands. Right? This is also one of the things. Having a physical hand is like, whoa, like my father over Shalom, he's already in the Olam HaEmes. I can't hug him anymore. He can't give me a squeeze. This is the way what a hand does, right? It's bigger than all the spirituality. It's a pele. It carries something bigger. Spirituality is still something measurable. But a hand that unites the physical and the spiritual is mamish. Ein sof. It's a pele. It's absolutely incredible. It's something even bigger than heaven. Something they don't have that in heaven, which we're going to learn from Shlomo. Children are born, right, Judy? Children are born into hands. They know all about hands. Our first, as we get older and older, we forget the Torah of hands, right? We think, oh, it's about what you say, or how much money you have, or your position, or whatever, or your fashion, or your how much Torah you know. It could be sometimes, or whatever it is, and you forget about what a hand can do, what a hug can do. Davka, what your gashmi and stick a thing can do. It's so amazing. There are children who grow up with those hands, the hands of before creation, this love from before creation. And this is this chiluk we made last time. Someone was saying there's 3 levels of hands. There's one level of a hand that is just, like just limited and physical and sort of, weak. And what would be a good, right? That, like, I'm not coming up with a good metaphor now, but in any case, there's a hand like of this world. Then there's a hand that carries with it the love from before creation. Where Shlomo said this, like that hand is amazing, and that's the chibur that we need. But it's still not the hand of Mashiach, right? The hand from before creation, he said, it's still something that takes time. People can receive it and heal from it and everything, and it's much, much more powerful than just the coordinates and physicality of a hand, of a physical hand, because it's carrying with it meaning and caring and loving. But it still takes time, just like creation took 6 days. But the hands of Mashiach is something that is even greater than that. That is like an instantaneous healing. Just reminds you, as we spoke about last time, it reminds you the awakening of the shofar. It's not that you were sleeping. It reminds you that you were awake the whole time. It reminds you that there's a part of you that never gave up hope. It reminds you that there's a part of you that actually didn't give up hope. Even after October 7th, even with everything we've been going through, there's a part of us that has not given up hope deep inside. We just need someone to remind us with a good hug, with a good, and it's love dafka hand. It could be a cup of coffee, it could be kalachnasat orchin, could be, but something that's going to be physical. And something that's going to come through. Could be an emoji. and it's going to be this wonder, like we saw last time, that the world, the Gemara in Ksubas, Daf Zayin, that the world Hashem created, Yadi tipcha aretz, that my hand, one hand, created the world. But Mikdash Hashem koinenu yadecha, the Beis HaMikdash Hashlishi, which is what they were singing about at the Shir HaSayam, is yadecha in the plural, 2 hands. That there's the love from before creation, which is one-handed, that has incredible love and kesher and everything. But what Chevron leads to, which is the chibur of Yerushalayim Shal Ma'ala, Yerushalayim Shal Mata, which is Mikdash Hashem Konenu Yadecha, the Mikdash Hashlishi, is a two-handedness, which, like the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, you know what 2 hands can do that 1 can't do? Untie really tight knots. The Mishnah Masechah Shabbos, untie knots that are really tight. Rabbi Meir says a knot that takes only one hand to untie is not Asur Min Torah to tie or untie on Shabbos. It's not mamish and not. If a knot that takes 2 hands, right? That's the pillar. Is that when that emoji comes through and it unties everything, and like wow, you know what? I suddenly have like a whole new life. I can start again. I can have a real Elul. And this is mamish what the inyan of tshuva of Elul is. We're going to see from Shlomo that I'm giving a long intro with just a little. We're going to just read Shlomo. Is Chaim is that tshuva, we tend to think of it as a list. There's a bunch of things we're supposed to do and things we're not supposed to do. And how many X's and how many ticks do I have, and and so on, and I have to like fit myself into this quantifiable list. Shlomo says, and I'm paraphrasing, but as we're going to see in the next few pages, We have to think of tshuva different. It's not a bunch of do's and don'ts that are the same thing as like getting questions right in a math test, or like doing whatever the Misrad Hapnim tells you have to do with it. Like it's not the same thing as that. We can tend to break it down in that kind of a way. You want to sit for a minute? Okay. So Shlomo says, Tshuva means that the mitzvahs of Hashem are for this purpose, to unify the physical and the spiritual. The mitzvahs are here that we could, for that nostalgia for the present moment. The mitzvahs are here not so I can tick off on a list. The mitzvahs are here so that through my two-handed living, through my putting my whole self in, I can be a vessel for this love that is from before creation, that runs through all of creation. A love that motivated creation. A love that is the purpose of all of creation. And the negative things is not just because it's a random don't do list, it's because doing those things are holding back that light. And the things that are the kumasei mitzvahs is because these are the ways Hashem says that you can mamish bring light into the world. You can make Shabbos, you can give tzedakah, you can learn Torah, and you have to make these real for you. You've got to find the teachers that can really teach it to you. That's what tshuva is. Tshuva is to be a pipeline for this love to come through you. It's not how am I doing on the list, right? It's really returning to saying yes to life in the most deepest way. So here we're in the second little bit here in page 143, last paragraph really. Sometimes a little child is crying. You pat her on the head. There's a little there, she keeps crying. Sometimes you give her a pat on the head. She suddenly stops crying and just smiles at you. That's the hands of Mashiach. Doesn't take time. Right? So this is what can come through us. This is what we're aiming for with tshuva. That there can come through us such healing, such loving. And we have to reach so deep. If we reach into the resources we have in this world, I can't find it. It's too, especially this year, it's so hard. We have to reach to the love that motivated all of creation, the Olam Chesed Yivaneh, to reach really, really deep. Remember that, and our soul knows it, because our soul is a piece of Hashem. So our soul was part of that decision, and is part of that decision, to create the world out of love. And we can bring that in. We can bring that in. We can be real Gomle Chasadim, really, the Gemilut Chasadim. The Gemara says, why is it called Gemilut? As a gamal, a camel, is something that it drinks so much water that it can then go on its own and travel through a whole desert. Right? The real chesed is not that you give chesed that the other person's dependent on you. Give them so much that they can go and do everything they need to do. You give them a whole koach. That's what comes through our mitzvahs. Every mitzvah. Yeah.
Specifically, you have to set, oftentimes we have to set boundaries so that people can get.
Was that again? You've set boundaries?
Oftentimes you have to build their kelim so that they can get, people get very excited about an idea, but they're so ungrounded that it's never going to manifest in the world unless you get very
so great. So that's
that's
the greatest Gemilut Chasadim, to help them. There's different kinds of people. Like some people are the good, extra good at planning, but don't have the ideas. Some people have the ideas and don't know how to implement. They have to team up, and then it comes through both of us, and we need each other, and Bezat Hashem, right? To mamish team up. That's for sure what I do in the yeshiva. I have thank God, nothing to do with yeshiva's bank accounts. We would be in very big trouble if I did. But I have a Shani, and I have Bo Kasher, we team up, and everybody does what's their strength, right? Next page. Ha'am ha'ein sof, the taste of the infinite. Yeshnam anashim shelo tamu ta'am ha'ein sof. There are people who have never tasted infiniteness. Mihem anashim abodedim yashvim. Who are the people who are lonely and who are broken? Anashim shelo tamu et hatam shel ha'ein sof. They haven't tasted infiniteness. This thing, he's going to spell it out a bit. Yesh anashim she'en lehem tam ha'ein sof apam b'chayim shelahem gevaltem tamu et ha'ein sof. So, will you say something? Some people they haven't had a taste except once in their life. Lamashal, ani ohevet ishti v'nikotneh la b'ayim penu. I love my wife, so I buy her all these extravagant things: a house in New York and a house in Paris. Kol bayit be'Eretz Yisrael, house in Eretz Yisrael. Nitela her bed varim gdolim. Kozman always giving her these lavish presents. Hamachat hitpalalti the yad hakotel. But then one time I'm davening next to the kotel. Ve'evin ktana achat, one little stone came off the big stones. Be'avnei hakotel v'nafla fell on me. I picked it up. Hiramti it aveti it alishti. I brought to my wife. That's more than all the houses and all the things, right? And this is Purim. This is what Mishloach Manot are about, right? Nowadays people take it, they exactly do the wrong thing. They give these lavish Mishloach Manot, but they're really meant to be as dafka, like a little nothing, that it contains infinite connectivity. Because of how little bit of a nothing, how little, you want to put some thought into it and everything, but dafka, like, in that this little piece of cake and banana, is everything. And and dafka, by choosing something that's so simple and sparing, it's what it's carrying with it is how, no physical thing could ever carry, and yet dafka, physical things can, because it's almost as if they're laughing at themselves. Like, here I am, a piece of cake, and I'm carrying all the love. It's like this. It's an amazing thing. This amazing thing. This is what we're talking about, nostalgia for the present moment. That, wow, this is so special. This little piece of cake, this little stone that fell off the kotel is worth billions, worth more than everything.
In our Nachla other communities parlance.
Yeah.
Sometimes you bring brownies to a meal, or I know that people ask if they're special brownies, and honestly, all brownies are special. Some are extra special. Let's appreciate how special a brownie is, and then we can talk about.
I still remember how your child gave me shlachmanas. I think it was this.
Oh yeah.
So special.
Yeah.
Just exactly that. So simple and so loving.
Oh, amazing! Wow, I'm so glad. I don't think I was conscious for that. I'm glad to hear it.
I'm quite certain it was this way.
Yeah.
Quite certain.
Oh, gewalt.
I think it was tomorrow again.
Amazing. I'm so thrilled. But Ellie, what you gave me the last two Purims, you got me my personal bottle of scotch. Before Purim. Do you know how much that means to me, Jalia? You have no idea. That's why there's so much that I'm able to give back to you, because there's this kesher. That's all. You don't even know what these bottles of scotch can do. And this is my testimony.
I actually forgot I was involved this year as well.
You remembered. This is like there's a whole team of people who help me on Purim. You're one of them. My wife also, and she goes, she knows, like, I come home, I daven nates, I come home, and I'm with the kids, and she goes to hear the Megillah, and then she takes the kids out for Shalach, and I sit with a bottle of scotch, a bunch of chocolate, some eggs, little bread, and a Gemara. And I'm just in Gan Eden for a few hours. And it's not.
And a Gemara, I didn't see that coming.
Yes.
No.
Sometimes you never know where the Gemara will take me. You never know where it'll take me. But I have all kinds of really well scribbled notes from the Torah that came down during those times. Yeah. And so it's your Baal Scotch. Okay. So these things are. How do you quantify such a thing? How do you quantify that? And there's so many things like this. There's so many Davka olam hazeh, in the meanwhile, imperfect, not yet geula, underground, subterranean, chevron, chibur, that can never be destroyed, that comes before Yerushalayim. David was king in Hebron before, so he would learn the secret of chibur, so he could connect Shamayim and Aretz. But that chibur is there, and all these connections are happening all the time. Subterranean, where is it? Who sees? Who's like doing like shira for the bottle of scotch? Like you don't see it, but it's holding the whole universe together. These things are holding the whole universe together, mamish. And that's what we're doing tshuva for now. That's what we're doing, to remember that, that we have an opportunity, and we don't want to get to 120 and say, I could have done so much. I could have been so there. I could have been there for it. I could have been, there's so many moments to be nostalgic for all along. Right? That's the tshuva, but that's what it's about. Not a list of things and how well, the list is the chitzonius of it's the outerness of Hashem giving you pipelines of connectivity and telling you, no, don't go down that path, don't, because it's going to block the shefa. It says, you can give a child a lot of things. But what children need is infinite, right? Later on in the Torah, he says you can come home and give your child a peanut butter sandwich, but what he really needs is an infinite peanut butter sandwich. But that's the thing. And Davka peanut butter sandwich can be infinite. Davka. And Shemayim has no idea what that is. It's a pellet. This is what it's okay. We're gonna see more from Shlomo. The Gemara tells us that the Shechina is there above the head of a sick person. Because why is it? Because when a person gets a little sick, they suddenly remember, wow, I really need that infiniteness. I need that infiniteness. When he's talking, you can only put one word out after the next. It's sequential. When you're listening, and only listen to one word after the next. You can't even hear two things at the same time. But with seeing, can see a lot all at once. Seeing is connected with the infinite. When is it that people cry? It comes out of my eyes. The tears come out of the eyes because it's connected to this infinite place within me. Music also, but it makes you cry. Oh, harmony. And Shlomo is all about harmony. The point he's making here was seen a minute. When you love somebody very much, where do you look? You look into their eyes. You don't look at their ears. Leibish makom acher. Rak ba'inayim. The eyes are the window of the soul, right? Eyes are so deep, right? And this is this other thing, right? The eyes, Yerushalayim is also also related. Chaim. Chaim is a place where you come to be seen, right? In the Torah, Yera'eh, the mitzvah of Re'ayon, to be seen in Yerushalayim. And the Gemara says, Kashem Shaba Le'ra'ot, Kachu Ba Lir'ot. Just like you're coming to be seen, so you're coming to see Hashem. Yerushalayim is that place where the seeing happens. It's not much unbelievable. How? Because Yerushalayim, what are you seeing really? Chaim? What you're seeing is the fact that Hashem is seeing you. That's what's called seeing Hashem. And that's the subterranean Chevron connection. And we're building that. We have that now. We're building that now. Though that we're building the eye nerves that connect up to the soul. We're building something incredibly precious. Davka now, it's so special what we have now. It's Friday. We'll only have on Shabbos what we make now. Some people look into their eyes and you see dollar signs. Right? Some people look in their eyes and you see the divine presence in their eyes. The eyes. Because what are you looking at when you look in someone's eyes? you're looking at them, seeing you. Same idea, right? That what makes it so special is that they're seeing you. Right? It's this unbelievable thing. You're seeing them, but what's exciting about seeing them is that they're seeing you, right? Mamish Apellet. And they're seeing you, seeing them, and it goes back in Mamish, it's infinite. Mamish, like those mirrors, like so deep. Animals, they never overeat, right? The Ishbitzer says, what? Maybe in the labs, when they mistreat them, but generally speaking, out in the wild, you don't see like this overweight monkeys like, oh man, I just can't stop with the bananas. Like it's we that don't know limits, right? Lama zekach. Why is it that human beings have this thing, right? We're talking about this Thursday night too, same idea. Because we human beings, we know we're here for something that's infinite. And the thing is, we make a mistake and we think it's infinite bananas. Realize the Torah is teaching us how to be infinite. The tefillin are infinite. The tzedakah is infinite. The emoji to a friend is infinite. Talking one word to God is infinite. Ba'olam hazeh efshar hakol. This is the world where we can do everything. Feels so limiting, right? But it's really turning everything on its head. Yesterday I was in such a low place, but in olam hazeh, dafka this world hayom ani yachol liot ito ani yachol liot b'madrega alyon. I can be in the highest place. This world is a place where you can grow, where you can actually grow. It's shabayim. It's sort of like you're just stuck on whatever madrega. And of course, the Gemara says that when you really learn how to grow in this world, then we learn how to grow in this world so that we'll even be growing forever. Yesterday I was at machloket. I can fix it. That's what Elul is what this whole time of tshuva is. It's the spiritual world that's limited. So amazing. It's a spiritual world that's limited because it's spiritual. Each shemayim, there's this angel, there's that angel, there's this part of heaven, there's that part of heaven. There's a specific degree of Giloy Elokus that happens in each place, right? This world is mamish infinite. I'll tell you it over in a second from Alter Rebbe how he would say it. We're still basking in his light. It was Chai El yesterday, the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. This world with the chair that we're sitting on, here. This is where it's infinite. We're going to speak it out from the Alter Rebbe in a second. But first he has the jig over Rebbe Mijikov, which was Shalom's grandfather's Rebbe. The Rebbe Mijikov Omer, when we were up in heaven before we were born, we didn't need each other. We were each in our cubicle, just getting shined on, right? And okay, it was probably geschmack, but we had no need for each other, with no real kesher with each other. We were just each in our own little cubicle. Not so human, right? Like it's angelic, but it's not. In the spiritual world, you don't need friends. Just the divine light and you, this. Nobody can do anything for you. So unbelievable. Dafka here with all the mishikas, and there's a lot of it, especially this year. It can be somebody's friend. Somebody can be your friend. If you see somebody crying in the street and you go and help them, you can be infinite, you can be eternal in that moment. And we were learning Thursday, it's also Brana Chabad Chasidus. I'm telling you now the Alter Rebbe's Torah here is the word olam means hiddenness, but the word olam also means forever. And our whole job is to take the hiddenness of this world and turn it into moments and experiences that are mamish forever. So amazing. The goosebumps. It's so much unbelievable. And the Alter Rebbe says like this. He says, how do we understand this idea that Olam that Ruchni is Mukbal and Olam Hazeh is Ein Sof? He says there's something called Atzmus and something called Giluyim. There's Mamish God, that's called Atzmus, like the, so to speak, self of God. If we, I mean, you can't even really use such words. All the words break down, but there's like, in Hasidus, they use that term, Atzmus. And then there's Giluyim, like expressions, right? Whatever the expressions are, and there's more and more infinite amount of it, but it's nowhere near the actual personhood, so to speak. God is not a person of God. Same thing with each other, right? Like, there's this is the angst of the poet, right? I want to put myself onto the page, and I can't quite do it. I can put some of me on there, on the painting, in the Shabbos food, in the challahs, in the feng shui of the apartment, or whatever is your thing, but you should do your thing, and it's so special, and people do get something from you from it, but it's like a ray of light from you, but it isn't actually you.
That's the line from Anim's Neros.
Right.
They made analogies and comparisons to you,
right?
But it's not
really
your realness, not your selfness.
Mm-hmm.
And they could only compare you according to your actions, your
right.
deeds.
We can understand.
Such a good line. It's like all we have are like the manifestations of self. We can't grasp their
Mamish. So on the one hand, so the thing is, the Alter Rebbe says a little past that, a really davar peller. He says like this, that Shemayim, the Ziv HaShechina, is shining in a revealed way. It's all in the Shamas and all the Malachim, everybody's singing, it's Gavaldi. Olam Hazeh, Hashem constricted the light and made a chalal, made an empty space that we're in, right? But he didn't constrict him actual self, only the light. So what we have in this world is, we're missing the Gilui, but the Atzmus is there, subterraneanly, in a profound way, right? Mamish God is here, but God's revelation is it's not gone, it's just mitzumtzam. There's beautiful colors and sunsets and et cetera, et cetera. We can see God a lot of the time, but there's enough of the time that we can't, that it's pretty hidden, right? Enough of the time that we can't, that it's pretty seriously hidden. But what that allows for is this thing of kesher, of a kesher with each other, of a kesher with Hashem, of growth that's in a certain way. When Hashem lifts the curtain and the light shines, we're just like blinded by the light. We get frozen, we can't do anything. Take the light away, it's tough, it's nuts, feels like abandonment, it's heavy. But he put a Torah in here and enough tzaddikim b'ezrat Hashem to inspire us, and we leave each other and we hold hands and we b'ezrat Hashem, we get strength. And we have nostalgia for the present moment, and we're able to, b'ezrat Hashem, take advantage of Olam Hazeh and the preciousness of Olam Hazeh, the things, the opportunities that are dafka only here, and learn how to grow. And then that growth stays with us forever. Even after we die, it stays with us forever. That's Yelchel Michayil El Chayil will become, even when we become spiritual beings in Shemayim, we're of a different ilk, we're of a different kind, we're of a different quality, because we've grown by having been here in this limited world. We found this infinite place that resides dafka in this world, where the spiritual meets the physical, and in that place it's so beyond. It's so much more. What a good word that helps someone. The kesher you build with them and with Hashem for having done that is something like you can't compare it to even all the light of heaven. You can't compare. It's like it's of a different. It's atzmustik. It's gottlichkeit. It's elukus. It's not ziv. It's not just a ray of light. It's mamish godliness, mamish. This is this incredible thing. Hi, a little longer, a little more. Bam ruchani afshar liot l'mashal million kilometer gavoa. It could be a million kilometers tall, says Shlomo. But ba'olam hazeh, v'rek echad, with one moment, afshar liot l'malam min hakol, it could be above everything, above numbers completely. In that place of chibur, of chevron, of this subterranean true self, true godly place that is just more than it, that just qualitatively beyond all measurement. Everybody wants to be infinite. So I don't know how to handle this, how to hold this. So that what do I do with this infinite wanting? I stuff it up with sushi and whatever. And I mean, again, I'm all for sushi personally, but you stuff but it's but you stuff it up with whatever in a unhealthy way, right? Something that animals don't do, but it's because it's an unbelievable thing. All the mistakes that you made are because of the incredible dignity and majesty of the being that you are. The mistakes are because of how amazing you are. It's just a question of just putting the focus onto, Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim, like Torah, like really finding the Torah that really strengthens you, really finding the teachers, finding the Sfarim that really give to you, really finding the kind of davening, the shul, the energy, the space where you can really daven, the space in nature, this community, etc., the kinds of prayers, the Tehillim, the translations. You have to really try to do these things. Like they're there. This is what our people do. We become infinite through these three ways: Torah, Avoda, and Gemilut Chasadim. That's and our chesed. How can I do chesed? Which emoji? Which There's so much chesed that we can do, unbelievable, from literally just like fiddling with our hands. We can do so much chesed, like it's totally out of this world, like overseas and everything.
I think that's where a lot of depression and sadness come from. This whole thing of having a perfect vision in a world that it's impossible to deal with.
Right. And instead of realizing Dafka here, we can be nostalgic for the present moment with all of its brokenness. Yeah, exactly. Like if there would be a big parade of Leibish Appreciation Day, and like maybe I'll be happy. And if they give me all my favorite food and everything, my parents will come and say, I'm sorry for everything we ever did. We never meant to criticize you. And everyone, they gave me tons of money and they made me president and they ended the war. And then maybe I'll smile. But until then, leave me alone. Pass me another whatever special brownie or whatever. Not to knock the brownies. But then Adarabah, that's what we're saying is Adarabah, when somebody really gives you a brownie. With love, I'm talking about, packed with love. When somebody gives you a brownie, it could be bigger than the whole Leibish Appreciation Day. All these things that we really, it's like it can carry in it that infiniteness and godliness. There's mamish a story. There's the Rebbetzin Machlis Zatzal. You've ever met her? You should. Oh my goodness! So wow, right? So mamish, there's a story of it. It's in the book, the chicken soup. What's it called again? Love and Chicken Soup. I forgot what it's called. There's a biography of hers. It's Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's incredibly. If you don't have the book of Henny Machlis, really could to get it. It's an English book.
I didn't.
No,
because she never gave up. She was just
at the end.
Non-stop
When she was sick. Yeah.
She was hard on herself. She always wanted to do more.
I hear you.
That's how I felt.
I hear you. Mitzad Sheni, like what she did for people. So one time this guy came to her house, and and he was like in such a depression. He writes about it. They interviewed him, and Machlis said to him, "Listen, have a piece of Henny's cake." And he's like, "What's that gonna do? Leave me alone." And he's like, "No, just have a piece of Henny's cake." Mama, she just took this. It was like this fluffy lemon cake thing, very push the cake. And he said, I ate the cake, and like it just lifted me up. Mama, it's like this unbelievable thing. And this is the bit that Shalom used to say about Judy's chalas, right? That you're davening into the chalas. It's real, dafka. Even if you don't know who's going to eat the cake, what a Jewish kitchen is. We've been talking about this the last bunch of weeks. It's so the kavana that you put in, the love that you put in, you become part of the divine assembly factory of nutrition and food in the universe you're doing the last few steps, you know? And if you do it and say, this world is terrible, and you know, all right, I guess we have to eat, I'll make some food, you know. Then the food will carry that energy.
It's interesting that so many chefs talk about like, oh, the secret ingredient is love, like putting love into their food. It's become almost like a trope or a cliche. But like you have to like recalibrate to be like, no, it's like, it's like, you know it when you taste it. Right?
Mamish, a real chef, a real chef is no less than a musician or an artist. A real chef, we're all real chefs. We don't have to be like so, you know, like just we're all musicians, we're all artists. We you don't have to be so super duper. You can put that love in there. Mamish. Shlomo used to say about the Hanukkah candles. He said it's like a billionaire who has Picassos on the wall worth millions, but worth more to him than anything is his 3-year-olds like Kishkush from Gan on the fridge is worth more than all the Picassos. And he says that's what Hashem feels about our Hanukkah lights, even though he has all the galaxies. But our Hanukkah lights, that we're trying, that we're still shining a little light, that we believe in our Kesher with Hashem. It's so precious. It's more precious than all the fancy stuff. And this is the same thing, our cooking, even if we're not, you know, Mr. Super duper cook, but our cooking, Mamish carries with it. It brings so much with it. By the way, the Navi Nehemiah says, well, he was exactly a Navi, but Nehemiah, he says, Shilchu manot, he says about Rosh Hashanah, on Rosh Hashanah. He says, send manot ish l'ri'eim. In the same pasuk, it says, Ichlu mashmanim ushtu mamtakim, eat fatty meat and drink wine. He also says, send shalach manos to each other on Rosh Hashanah. So there is a makor for sending shalach manos for Rosh Hashanah. It's a big thing. Send people, you can send people. People really appreciate it, and it could change the whole timber of the year by sending a shalach manos. This is for you for your Rosh Hashanah Suda. Like wow, you know. And by the way, the Alter Rebbe in his Shulchan Aruch, he writes, we eat fatty meat and drink sweet drinks on Rosh Hashanah as a sign that should be a Shana Metuka Ushmena. Is that the sweetest term? It should be like PHAT, you know, it should be a fat year. He always writes in Shulchan Aruch, Shana Metuka Ushmena. We had a good time with it at Kiddush this past Shabbos. In any case, the Shlomo saying does, you know, take that wanting and put it into things that are really infinite. If Charlie better and better friend. That's also Eli Wiesel said that. He said, my religion is friendship. And if I'll be a fanatic, so I'll just be an excellent friend, right? Give out. With a better husband, better and better wife. To love people more. We doing with time? A little more. Our Rebbe Mijiko Mamshich ve'omer she'tafkid shel tzadikim b'chol dor hu lamed et hador le'ol yishtamesh b'ratzon le'in sof l'dvarim tipshim. The main job of the tzadikim in each generation is to tell people, don't use your infinite longing for things that they can't hold it. That can't hold it, right? Put your infinite longing where it really belongs. Get beyond yourself. Greater deeds, greater thoughts. I think actually that I want to go to the next page because it's just so shaykh to today. So we'll finish with this, page 148. And this is what we started off with. How is it that God constricted himself to be in the Beis HaMikdash? I could be in one spot. God is God. The Inyan is like this. I'm infinite. I'm not going to constrict myself to just one religion, right? I remember when I was 17, I went to Vancouver Island to this college Remember that? And we did in those days, I was like, I had a friend. It wasn't really me, but I had a friend who was very anti-establishment, and we did a bank sit-in. 1, 2, 3, 4, tax the rich and not the poor. 5, 6, 7, 8. I forgot. We had this whole thing where we mamish closed down a bank. We're like, haha, yeah. We were like, this is way back. The World Bank was like the evil of all evils. And in any case, when I was there, I was wearing a kippah at the time. I was sort of just started keeping Shabbos. And I see this guy dressed in all different colors and and he sees my kippah and he says, I'm bigger than that. I'm everything. He mom said like this thing. And I said to him, but you were Jewish once, weren't you? He's like, my name is, like whatever, like Yankel Schwartz, like these it's always Jews who are the ones who are like, I can't be limited to any case. But it's coming from this same place, you understand? It's coming from the same place and then we have the same issue. Our infiniteness is like in our art or something, and when it comes to Elul, it's like this small-minded thing. There's a list, and how am I doing in and oyve? We don't put the two together. We're like that what tshuva means is to get back to the infiniteness of living. That's what Shlomo was giving to us here. Anashim Elohim Ein Sof Shel Klum. Those people are infinitely nothing, right? Anachnu lo medabrim al Ein Sof because that's not the infiniteness we're talking about. Anachnu medabrim al mashu Ein Sofi, but not true infiniteness. L'chein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shu Ein Sof. This is why God, who is the real Ein Sof, can constrict himself and be in the Beis Hamikdash, as paradoxical that is. Gevalt yesh chut dak. There's a very thin line that divides between Ein Sof of nothing and the Ein Sof that is authentic. Ein Sof Hamiti, the real Ein Sof is dafka here in this world where there is limitation, where there's specific moments, where there's nostalgia for the present moment. Dafka here. Matai shosim tova, and when we use this world to get across to someone and connect to someone, shosim tova lemishu matai shekrovin, which we close to someone. We're not talking about the Ein Sof of sitting under a tree meditating on nothingness. That's not what we're talking about. The Ein Sof Hamiti, the real Ein Sof, it's specific to this world. Esav HaRasha, Omer, Esav says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu magbilatcha. God is like curbing your style, right? God is limiting you. Esav HaRasha choshev kol Hashem rotzeh taseh et zeh. All God said is, do this, don't do that, right? And but I was a free bird before that, and now God came and clipped my wings. L'cheinu what does the person do? They take their infiniteness and go into things that are not holiness, and that's where they find their infiniteness instead of in Torah. Esav HaRasha choshev Hashem makel aleinu. But machzik makel, Hashem is like holding a big rod over our heads. And Esav's like, I can't stand this rod. What do we tell Esav HaRasha? Rimlo, try being infinite for one moment. Tell him like, you want this infiniteness that's out of this world? Find the infiniteness in this world. That's what the mitzvahs are about. It's holding something so much bigger. If you see a poor person and they strike you to be the real thing, just empty your pockets just one time. And I'm not giving specific advice. Everybody has to make their own, it's financial, etc. But Shlomo is saying, like that experience of really giving yourself to someone. It's not only financial. One time just daven with no limitation of when you're ending. Right? And then I'm just adding in, because here he's got Gemilut Chasadim and Avodat Torah is the third one. Also, like, find the Torah that really speaks to you. Make it a quest. Aseh Harab is a very big deal. Make a real quest out of it, and find the Torah that really speaks to your soul. It is out there. There are Sfarim, there are teachers, and that's what's going to make you able to take the hunger and put it where it belongs, instead of on things that will never quench it anyway. Chaim. Chaim. Any thoughts or questions before we finish? Thank everyone for
That was
coming.
really, really
So
meaningful.
this class,
Chaim. Thank you, Ellie. Yeah.
this class is the last class before this is the last
Oh,
week.
we could do one more Sunday, this coming Sunday, no?
Yeah.
It's Rosh Hashanah is Wednesday. As you wish, Judy. It's up to you. It's up to you. I'm saying I could come.
Let's make it TBD.
Well, let's leave it. Maybe we can leave it. Yeah.
Let's communicate about it.
100%
But
set.
it's
Yeah.
possible that we might have something in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Okay. On that Sunday, I'll still be in Uman.
Dahlia.
Yeah, I'll still be in Uman that Sunday.
Oh, you'll be in Oman.
Yeah.
When are you going?
Hopefully this coming Sunday night. That's what I'm saying. I could come during the day. Maybe it's a better lot too. Yeah, maybe it's yeah. I also sleep it's a Saturday night. But this Thursday night there'll be a shir,
Yeah.
a pre-Rosh Hashanah shir this Thursday.
Yeah.
This Thursday night here.
So that's going to be the
Maybe that'll be it for
Yeah.
for a chunk.
okay.
Yes. Chaim.
It's good.
Thank you.